Operations Manager Academy, thank you for your time. I want to keep this brief, but I have something of great value. So I am enthusiastic about sharing this with you. Before I get started, I want to make sure that you're in the right place. So the first two slides are to make sure of that. The first slide is what is an operations manager, right? So there's two ideas of what an operations manager exactly is. And so the main two ideas behind what an operations manager is, you learn and manage a process and you lead a team to accomplish work. This can play out in many different ways in many different industries. And the next thing I want to ask is this you? Is this you? You work in a place where goals keep changing, there is unclear direction from leadership, wrong people continually move up, and as a result of that, you're frustrated in this role. If this is you, you're in the right place. Stick with me. We're going to talk through a couple of things, and I have some great information to share. So let's get moving. Right. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is I was there. I see it play out with a lot of my peers as well. So when you are here, you're at the mercy of ineffective leaders, right? You work in a climate of conflicting priorities, and the way this plays out is the culture is one in which there is a sink or swim mentality. So when I was there, I'm racking my brain. What is going on here, right? How do I navigate these waters? How do I remain unaffected by all this confusion around me, right? So more importantly, though, is how do I continue to develop? How do I achieve goals? How do I gain direction? How do I grow in knowledge? And how do I gain skills that lead to my success, right? That's what everybody wants to know. This is what led me on a path. So many companies, we end up here because operations managers are left to their own devices, right? We tell them, the companies say, here's the process, but they're left as operations managers, we are left to figure it out on our own, right? It can be a lonely and frustrating place as a result of that. But the big thing that I was personally annoyed is that there was a climate or feeling of inauthenticity, right? There was more and more people that are inauthentic in this suffering because none of us want to admit that we don't have it all figured out or that we have doubt or confusion or anything that makes us look not in control. So authenticity was the order of the day. So what that leads to is this analogy that I'm going to make with sailing, right? So that is, we're sailing without we're sailing without sails, that is, in a storm, right? So your career's adrift in a storm, no sails, at the mercy of others who do not have your best interests in mind. So where do we don't want to be here, obviously, right? But where do we want to be? So this is the image of our careers that we want. Big, tall, sailing ship, powerful ship, right? The sails in this instance represents understanding. They represent execution of a clear plan. They represent a definite goal for your own success. So first, let me ask you a question before we move on, right? How much did you pay for your career, your college degree? Um, we're gonna unpack that idea just because we know the price of a degree is continuing to grow and escalate. But think about that, and we'll come back to that after this. So there is a misconception out there that a degree makes you successful, especially as a young, idealistic person. You think that your degree is your ticket to fame and fortune, right? You get out in the real world, you find out your degree does not make you successful. What does your degree do? Your degree is the price of admission. It is not the guarantee of success. So companies are teaching, right? They're teaching how to manage, and they call it leadership. This is a more and more common thing. We call leadership leadership skills when in fact they're just managing a process. So they, as a rule, they're not teaching you how to be successful in your role. They are many times unaware of the obstacles that are being caused by their very process, right? Their own process is causing obstacles. They're either unaware or unwilling to admit it when that is the case. And we have to navigate those waters. So companies do teach a few core principles very well, right? They teach their system, they teach their metrics, they teach their process, they teach their terminology, they teach their routine. These things together collectively, they are the brand of the company. This is what's their style, their flavor. They're taking these things and planting them somewhere else in a new location is what causes their brand to be the same regardless of location. So that's why there's emphasis in this. Again, right? A brand, companies are nurturing their company brand. They are not nurturing your success. This is not something that's openly admitted, but if you get out there, you will find out that this is in fact the case in many industries. So what is a successful career? What does success look like as an individual? So success is insight. What is your insight? What are the alliances that you have? Your social skills, your leadership ability, how you handle risk and uncertainty, how well you sell your ideas to others, your ability to think in innovative terms or innovatively, right? Your confidence, your ability to learn, whether or not you have direction, and your clarity with regard to all of these things. These are the things that lead to success. These are the things that lead to a successful career. Guess what? These things are not being taught in college. Very few degree programs have things that dive into these ideas. These things are learned OJT, right on the job, right? Because they're learned on the job, they can take years to learn, right? So when you learn from those that came before you, you shorten your timeline to success, right? Your trajectory is steep, and you grow and you shorten that timeline. For so many people, they're spending 10, 20, 30 years gathering this information, and at many times, many people are not gathering or not learning this at all. So what's the big tragedy in the career world, in your career life, is people are so busy at work. They're so busy in their home lives, with their families. They're doing what others told them to do. They're chasing what others told them to chase. And they're asking for permission to be great from somebody else. Eventually, these people are waking up later, as I said, 10, 20, 30 years. I've seen all kinds of scenarios like that. They find that they are in a place in their life that they do not want to be in. They had no inner compass. And so now they feel trapped by all this activity that was taking them to nowhere. Remember, smart people learn from their mistakes, but geniuses learn from the mistakes of others. So what's the big transformation here? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a guide? Do you have someone helping you build your career? Do you have someone not in your circle who can give you the outside perspective you need? This is greatly lacking in the operations manager's role, because we are activity driven, execution driven, and we don't feed ourselves. So how is this happening for you, right? Operations managers need a group or a place where other people have been there. Somebody that understands your language, your experience, what you're talking about, right? Somebody to share those experiences, right? You share with each other, you gain direction, you gain clarity. Doing this helps to build your thriving career as an operations manager, regardless of what company you work for. Operations Manager Academy, this is what it's designed to do for you, right? You create a clear path and objective for your advancement. You discover what your organization's values for advancement are. This is a core concept because for so many of us, we think that if we execute the process the best, that is how you move up. That has not been the case in so many instances, because there are other things that are very subtle that organizations value over that, And many times that elusive thing causes us to be overlooked. So this is a forum for us to unpack that, uncover that. When you know that, then you become clear in how you navigate those waters so you get the results that you want. So who am I? My name is Dominic Pacheco. I'm a problem solver. I'm a team builder. I'm a senior systems engineer. I've been working in my career for 28 years now. I started in U.S. Navy, then the transportation industry, then auto industry and manufacturing, automation, steel industry, retail, distribution. And this career is led me to be in the technical side of things as well as the social side of things. So the last thing I wanted to share is that, well, first of all, this is my wife. We have 3 teenage children. We have a busy life, and I am blessed to say that I lead the life that I lead, and I'm humbled by the life that I lead because it was a long process to get here, and it was a path of transformation. In having it be a path of transformation, I can connect with others along that path, and I can clear the way and be a guide for that. I wanted to share that I'm not much of a sports fan, so don't let that hat bother you. I'm from New York. That's pretty much why I have it on. I don't follow sports, so yeah, just wanted to share that with you. But what are my superpowers, right? You should have superpowers. They are the way you want to differentiate yourself. They are the way you provide value to the marketplace, right? My superpowers are I connect with people. I learn the process. I lead teams. I solve problems that are of a technical nature and also of a social, cultural dynamic as well. I find the reasons, actions, psychology that lead to the desired results in people, right? In other words, the reasons and the clarity behind why some people do and some people do not have success, and just finding the direction to model that and clarity around that. So if you want to be great, and let me clarify that I believe you should want to be great, and being great is not about being arrogant. Being great is about serving somebody else in your superpowers. When you do that, you separate yourself from the pack, you become valuable, you become wanted, and people will scramble to get a hold of you, right? So if you want to be great, you have to invest in yourself, right? You have to use a strategy that it's over and above what your peers are doing. If you look to your left, if you look to your right at the workforce, what are you doing different than those people? That's what you want to answer. So this is not for you if you like to follow the crowd and you do the minimum. Sorry, this is not for you. If you are skeptical that doing something different leads to different results, sorry, this is not for you. If you do not believe that other people like myself exist out there, right, that have a genuine desire to help people like you, to help others, to share information that's taken years to accumulate, information that's part of the network and part of the life and experiences that we've grown through our own process of transformation. If you don't believe that people exist there that have a genuine desire to help, then this is not for you. But if you are unhappy with the lack of clarity with what leads to success in your organization, the lack of investing that your company makes in your success as an individual, as a professional, then stick with me. I want to work with you only if you meet the following criteria, right? If you want to invest in yourself, right? If you are willing to act, if you are a positive-minded individual, if you take responsibility for your own results, then I want to work with you. So what are results? You have to do what others are not willing to do to get the results that few people will get. This is the premise we're starting from, and this is the approach we take, right? So back to that question I asked you earlier, how much did you pay for your college degree? I know, is it 50,000, 70,000, 100,000? I'm throwing these numbers out there because I'm old enough to know 20, 30 years ago that those numbers were unbelievable. Like, that didn't happen. Not for a regular non-Ivy League education. Now, today, in this climate, these are normal numbers. So, yeah, you have a number in mind. I'm sure you do. What is that number? So, if we take that conservative number, right, after paying 50,000 and upwards of 50,000, can you and I agree that spending $1,000 to invest in yourself, to invest in your growth, in the areas that lead to success, is a small price for you to pay? I think that if we are honest, that we can say that's not an unreasonable thing, right? But having said that, there is good news. I'm not asking for $1,000 at all, right? When you consider that with this information, you can move up in your career, you're easily going to make 20% more than your peers. Why is that? Because when you separate yourself from the pack, you become part of the 5%, that 5% that outshines the other 95%. That 5% is just investing in themselves. That's what they're doing. It's simple, but it's somewhat counterintuitive, and people don't do it. They follow what everybody else is doing. So when you do that, when you're in that 5%, you're making 20% more than your peers, easily 20%. That's conservative because many of these people in that 5% group are moving up. So that number is skewed. But over the lifetime of your career, this amount that you invest is easily going to add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for you. So for $245, you can be part of this community and invest in your own growth in a way that none of your peers are doing, or very few of your peers are doing, right? So keep in mind, my time is limited. I only work with 10 clients at a time. The next group starts on September 20th, 2018. So not just around the corner. How is this delivered, right? The method of delivery is a video series, number one. Also, 2 30-minute one-on-one calls with me. This is where we unpack things that are specific to you and come up with a plan. And also launching a closed Facebook group for people like you and I to connect. It's a safe place to connect on topics relevant to us and discuss things as they come up throughout the day, throughout the week. So the last idea, last slide I want to leave you with is invest in your own success. Connect with me. Let's make it happen. Do the thing that nobody else is willing to do to get the results that only you will get and you will see. Click the button below. Let's make it happen. Let's connect. Take care.